Wednesday morning here on KSJE, and you're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. It is time to take our weekly trip to the Encouragement Lab, and as you can see, look who's joining us from the lab is Dr. Mike Hattabaugh, who is here with us again this week. Dr. Hattabaugh, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us as always. And last week you had some great advice for us on how to be neutral, how to be Switzerland, you called it. And now this week you're here to tell us that maybe sometimes you can't stay in Switzerland. And so when do you know it's time to leave Switzerland, right?
Right. When is it time for you to become a non-neutral person, when it's time to pick another side? And you know, the great example for this, I think, is the history in America. Is in both World War I and in World War II, America sat on the sidelines for a long time.
That's true.
And we said, you know what, we don't want to, pick sides. We leaned towards a certain side, I think, during most of that. But we didn't actually fully choose another side until, we had to. And I think, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Anyway, I held off there.
You did.
As soon as I said that, it went away.
That's what happens sometimes. That's true. But all right.
But anyway, in both World War I and in World War II, we sat on the sidelines. Now, World War II, Pearl Harbor kind of pushed us into the fray. And that's what I want to say here is that when do you need to leave Switzerland? And that's when it becomes obvious that to not choose a side is going to automatically pick a side for you. That's when it's time to leave. Gotcha.
Okay. And are we talking, I think we're talking a lot of politics these days, but this could be useful for other things too, correct?
Yeah. The argument at the office, I was recently consulting with a group that literally the main administration of this group was split in their ideals about how to go forward. And it became really clear that it couldn't go forward that way. And so literally they were splitting, and one side was going to be the losers and one side was going to be the winners, and the losers were going to leave the company. And so I will tell you, if you've been the neutral person, that's time to decide. If you want to stay with the company, you got to pick the side that's going to be the winners in that end.
Right.
And if you decide, you know what, I can't live under those values, then it's time to leave. I think far too many people fret over, I hear this all the time, is, I wish my, bosses or administration would be this way. And rarely ever do they even consider the act of, you know what, maybe it's time for you to leave. Maybe you've outgrown your usefulness in the organization, and maybe in order for you to stretch yourself, you need to change. You need to leave that neutral kind of position that you've tried to maintain and go out and get in a new environment.
Interesting. Okay, and a lot of folks may find it difficult to try to pick a side though after being neutral for so long, after being in Switzerland for so long, right?
Well, realize that this is a leaning. You don't just to pick a side doesn't mean you have to go all in.
I see.
If I go to a new sports team's game, it doesn't mean I go buy the jersey and spend $300 on my outfit so I can look like a fan when I get there. I can be, a moderate fan and cheer them on when they're good and kind of ignore them when they're bad. So it's okay to be that way. We can't be fervent about everything. The people I know that have strong beliefs about everything, they're not healthy people. Have strong beliefs in a few areas, but in most of them realize you're not an expert. You're full of opinions. I'm full of opinions.
Right.
But realize it's okay to not be passionate about every single thing that's going on.
Okay. But it's okay to take a stand, or at least to kind of lean one way or the other when it's necessary.
Well, when you realize that your heart and your mind can't, and I got to talk about this too, the ethics of that. Sometimes you have a core belief where you just say, you know what, I can't go there anymore. And that's when it's time to step up and be honest and just say, look, here's who I am. Here's what I believe. And when you realize that you can live in that with the consequences of that, then you know that you've made the right choice. Because, then all of a sudden, if it becomes, I have to, relationships is a good example. When you have to tell somebody you like them, you've come to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm willing to put at risk anything we've already developed in a relationship in order to tell you that I like you, knowing that you might then reject me and might end the relationship altogether. And that's a microcosm of that inside an intimate relationship. But realize that works all the way up the ladder into big, huge organizations, even countries, and cultures and all over the place. That's when it's time to leave, when the consequences, the pain of the worst consequences is okay. The thought of that is okay, as long as you said, you know what, I have to stand up for what I believe in.
Okay. I guess you're taking a little bit of a leap there, but that's how it goes, right? You have to when you're taking a stand.
Sometimes, you know, as Switzerland, sometimes we have to go, okay, yeah, we got to pick a side now.
There you go. All right. Good advice. Dr. Hattabaugh, thank you so much. That's Dr. Mike Hattabaugh. He is with us every Wednesday from the Encouragement Lab right here on KSJE, Farmington, New Mexico.